is where we're rationalizing the denominators, or simplifying if you want to look at it. So we have the example 1, and I forgot to write example 1. Alright, example 1 says the cube root of a over the cube root of 9x. So remember before lunch we said the reason we multiplied by the square root is because we want a perfect on the bottom. So this is cube, so we have to look at our third, our cubes. So we have to look to see what does 9 go into. 8, 27, 64, and so forth up. It can be the first one that 9 will go into. 27. So this is what we want. So we want the cube root of 27. And how many x's do we have to have under there to have 3? So that's what we want. So we have to figure out what can we multiply 9 by to get 27? 3. So we're going to multiply it. And remember, it still has to be under the cube root, so we have 3. And we want x cubed, so how many x's do we have to multiply it by? X squared. We need 2 of them. Whatever we did to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So we're going to multiply the top by the cube root of 3x squared. Alright, we keep our cube root. 3x squared times a is 3ax squared. The cube root of 27 is 3. Good job. So we have 3. And the cube root of x cubed is x. So, again, a recap. We started with the cube root of 9. But 9 is not a perfect, so we want a perfect. So we wanted 27 would be the first one that 9 would go into. So, 9 times what gives me 27? 3. We need 3 x's under there, but we only had 1, so we have to do 2 more. Whatever you do to the top or the bottom, you must do to the top. And then you multiply across. So 3 times ax squared is 3ax squared. Right? Okay. Here we go. Example 2. So, you have the cube root of 7 over the cube root of 2. The first step, bless you, because it's a cube, the first step is to look to see, we have a cube here, we want to see what number, and you want the lowest number really, what number are we looking to get on the bottom? An 8. So if I want, this is what I'm wanting the cube root of 8 over here, what must I multiply 2 by to get the cube root of 8? Okay, those of you that are on your phone, I could give you a quiz on this right now. No, it's your notes. So we have the cube root of 4. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So you have the cube root of 4. So check yourself. You have the cube root of 2 times the cube root of 4. That's cube root of 8. And then you have 7 and 4, which gives me 28. The cube root of 28, it's not perfect, so it's done. The cube root of 8 is 2. Alright, Last example. Example 3. The square root of 2 over the square root of 5 minus the square root of 2. We have to think about what we did all before lunch. What do we have to multiply the bottom by? What can we multiply the bottom by to get rid of the square roots? So the conjugate, so it's going to be the exact same thing, but instead of a negative, it's going to be a positive. So square root of 5 plus the square root of 2. Whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. Square root of 5 plus the square root of 2. Multiplying. If you remember, if they're conjugates, you remember you can always do the FL, the first and last. If you don't remember that, you can multiply them out and the middle will drop out. Alright, so on the top we have the square root of 2 times the square root of 5, which is square root of 10. Square root of 2 times the positive square root of 2, which is square root of 4 or 2. And then the bottom, you can do your FL. So your first, we have 5. And last, you have a negative 2. Our final answer, 2 plus the square root of 10 over 3. All right. You are going to have